Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Above the Bar podcast. It's your host, Sean. We've bellied up to the bar today. We've got so much going on. We've brought in with us the hypest hypnotherapist, the law guardian of the laws of attraction, the international speaker for us all. We have with us today coming, and we're going to give her a little bit of a break because her husband is an Eagles fan, and I do have Jalen Hurts on my starting quarterback for my fantasy football team, so we can't say anything bad there. We've brought with us Miss Victoria M. Gallagher. There you go.
Oh my God, I love that applause. I need to get that going on my podcast.
Well, I told you, and people don't believe me. Like, I don't write any of those openings down. So sometimes I get some good ones that come to mind, and sometimes I'm like, I have no idea what the hell I'm going to say today. So we just go with it. So, but welcome, Victoria. I meant to ask you when we were doing the pre-show. So where are you coming to us from?
Oh, I am in lovely, I want to say sunny Arizona, but it's not really sunny right now. It's actually been we had fog like 2 days ago. So
Really?
anyway, yeah. So I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay. One of my favorite things I used to do in the Marine Corps was going to Yuma, Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
Down by the border.
Mhm.
And mostly because it was like one of these kind of towns that didn't need the Marine Corps to survive. So when you went there, it didn't feel like you were stuck in this place where it was like, everywhere you turn, it was just another Marine. And for those of us that have served any branch, you understand what I mean, like just going places. So look, folks, if you're finding us just now, make sure you give this a like, a follow, send it out. We're going to look up Victoria. If you're looking for Victoria as we're going through this, it's going to be victoriamgallagher.com. We're running the ticker, and I'm sharing this around right now, so make sure you're sharing it just as much to everyone. So let's get ready to do a little bit of house cleaning. Dibs is trying to come on, folks. We were just talking a minute ago. His internet is the worst. He is currently trying to use 2 wool socks to create enough of an electric charge to shock the hamsters that run his internet and bring them back to us. It is really bad where he is at. We joke about this, but he's so far north that he goes south to get into Canada. He's in he's that far north. So he's going to try to make it here for us. But while we're doing all these different things, let's get into a little bit of house cleaning. So right over my right shoulder, for everyone who doesn't know, that's Sticker and a Cause. That's our big board. You've got something you're supporting, something you believe in, something that you're thinking about, that you want everybody to know about, whether it's a comic book. We had somebody recently had a Kickstarter comic book. We've had plenty of other podcasters, stand-up comedians, whatever it is that you're supporting, whatever your thing is. If you reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, even our email, it's all the Above the Bar podcast at gmail.com for our email. And you let me know, hey, this is what I've got going on. I'll give you the address where to send it to. You send me out a sticker. We read it live on the air. Costs you absolutely nothing. You get some free advertisement. We make a new friend. So make sure you reach out to us. Also, we've got a big giveaway. Anyone who's listened more than once knows I love the company Phoenix Shaving. You're in Phoenix. Do you know Phoenix Shaving?
I'm not familiar with. I guess I should be familiar with
You
them.
should be familiar because he's even in Arizona. He's in that area. So Phoenix Shaving is a traditional shaving company, like straight razor, screw on the head. You remember that? Those were when we were a kid, like our dads probably used those things. I never used one growing up, but Doug Smythe, who's one of our former guests, big supporter of the show, Doug's given away 2 of his traditional shaving kits.
Nice.
Inside of this kit, there's the old brush. Remember the brushes like you used to see? So there's one of those brushes, the razor, 2 packs of blades. And what's crazy about it is I started using that, and
I
and
can
that
see it's working.
well, I know, right? With a full beard. Somebody said that to me the other day. They're like, "You have a full beard. Why are you talking about shaving kits?" And I'm like, "I hear you." But I shave just as much now because 'cause I'm constantly, like, putting all
Ah.
this and under my neck and all those kinda things. But these kits, they're like $60 kits. We're giving away 2 of them for free. At the end of the show, we'll have a link, or if you go into our Facebook or even our Instagram, we've got the link there. Go ahead and enter. It costs you nothing to enter. I promise you it's free. Get an opportunity, get yourself this, and we're gonna do it on the 14th, which is next week, with the hope, no promises, folks, with the hope to have this kit out to people by Christmas. So it's a stocking stuffer or a gift for somebody that you hope will get something. I don't know about you. My mother used to do this and my grandmother. Did you ever keep the just in case gifts at home in case somebody shows up that you weren't expecting? Do you keep those?
We didn't, but I'm familiar with that practice. I do actually keep some things just in case.
Is no, and it was always like for a guy, it was a wallet. It was always like a
Yeah.
wallet or something like that. And initially I was like, well, that seems kind of odd. And then I realized I was never so happy because then men, we never change out our wallets.
Mhm.
We never.
Mhm.
It was so great to go somewhere and somebody like, "Oh, we knew you were coming." Like, "Hey, how did you know I needed a new wallet?"
You know,
So,
it's so true, you just gave me an idea.
see, look, there you just keep a couple of them around. So we've got that. And the last thing is, maybe your media's in a daze and it needs to figure out about the new laws of attraction. And you need to reach out to Media by Dibs. I promise
Mm.
you Dibs has better internet when it's not doing this, but that's our Dibs, and that's DIBS, and you can find Dibs on Facebook, or you can find him on Instagram at Media by Dibs, or you can go into LinkedIn, and it's Andrew Dibble, Dibble, and if you mention to him, "Belly Up to the Bar," he's gonna give you a 10% discount off your first order and a free consultation. That consultation in and of itself will pay for itself, just being able to say, "Hey, I'm bellying up to the bar." So all that is done. The bar is wide open. Everything is situated. How are you, Miss Victoria?
I'm doing wonderful. And thank you for inviting me to your bar.
Well, you were going to get a beverage. What did you end up getting?
So, yeah, I grabbed myself a White Claw, black cherry White
Nice.
Claw. I'm, kind of a low carber, so I'll either drink, these hard seltzers or straight up vodka.
So
This was easier to grab.
there's nothing wrong with some straight up vodka. Do you like it just over ice? What are we talking about here?
All right, so it's 3 olives, cherry vodka over ice.
3 olives, cherry vodka. That's interesting. So cherry vodka and olives. Interesting.
It's not o it's the brand 3 Olives.
George says White Claws, no laws. Like I feel like George that White Claw is the what was the one when we were all kids? The oh gosh, what was it called? Zima.
Oh, Zima.
Like White Claw is the new
Oh,
Zima.
okay.
You remember
So
Zimas?
I think so, that does sound
Clear
vaguely
bottle, blue
familiar.
label, and like
Yeah.
if you were really cool, they put grenadine in it. Let me put grenadine in here. It was like you found your grandmother's bottle and you wanted to be cool. Yep. So let's kind of get into so if everybody was seeing the ads, Victoria is a podcaster also, but she also is a hypnotherapist. So what is the help everybody understand? Because I think that is just completely fascinating. And you have tons, like if you check out victoriamgallagher.com, there is so many like self-help, do it yourself, hypnotherapy things. But what is the difference between a hypnotherapist and a God, what would be the right and a hypnotist? Couldn't say
Hypnotist,
that.
the 2.
Yeah.
So, the way that, alright, so when you first go and get trained, to become a hypnotist, you get trained on that level first, and, so a hypnotist really does things that have to do more with direct suggestion, planting in information into the subconscious mind. And we can get into a little bit of like what these actually, like how you actually do all that. But just the distinction between the two is the hypnotist, has less credentials, and a hypnotherapist, you will go on to get your certification in hypnotherapy. And in hypnotherapy, you can do more things. You can do like regressions, you can do things like parts therapy. So it's all these therapeutic techniques where you're engaging the subconscious to actually get information, pull information from the client. And so we do all kinds of it goes definitely a little deeper, and and so those are the main differences. The hypnotist just sort of plants information in. There's no talking by the client. The hypnotherapist, it's a two-way conversation under hypnosis.
Now, I wasn't gonna make eye contact with you. I want you to know that. And then I was like, she's not gonna get me. Like, I'm not going under and clucking like a chicken. See, look, she's fucking just now. It's cold. But it's interesting. So what so I guess for me, what even made you think that, because we've all seen the different stuff. So yeah, hey, some people they have to be they have to be open to suggestion. Is that the way it's be the right way to say it?
Typically, yes. In a formal setting, you do need to be open to suggestion. However, people are being hypnotized all the time without even realizing it. And anything right now that, like, say you have a hard time creating a habit around, or any habits that you have a hard time breaking. Well, the reason why you have those habits in the first place is because at one time you were hypnotized to believe that, you know,
Hold on. Talk to me more about that, because I just watched a thing the other day about n- new cults, but they're not cults
mhm,
like you and I would think about a cult like David Koresh or Jonestown.
mhm.
They're yoga studios. They're
Oh, yeah.
things of that nature where, what's the I can't think of the one workout where, it's supposed to be, oh, this is the, practical fitness, slinging tires and doing all that stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
people get made to believe that, like, this is everything. This is your culture. Is that on that level? I'm just curious, because when you said that, it kind of popped into mind here.
So, just understanding a little bit about how suggestions get into the subconscious. One, they get in through like either just being in a open, like heightened state of emotions. So sometimes, like if you get really, really upset or really, really mad, that emotion, that really high state of emotion, when you say something or somebody says something to you in that heightened state, that goes straight into your subconscious mind. So that's one. The second thing is, up until we're about 6 years old, we're 100% subconscious, 0% conscious mind. So the conscious mind is the logical, rational, like decision maker, and it says, yes, I believe this. No, I don't believe this. And so if you say, no, I don't believe this, that suggestion's not going to go in. But up until you're 6 years old, you don't have that part of your brain developed yet. And so every single thing, literally, and this is going to scare you, and it's also going to
I have a
change the
5-year-old.
way
Come on now.
change the way you speak to your children, because they take everything literally, and the subconscious is literal. So like even if you say like, if you said something like, you're going to amount to nothing, oh, I'm just kidding, right? Well, they already heard you say you're going to amount to nothing, and so that just goes straight into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind doesn't know like joking or anything like that. And it's not saying that we can't have fun and tell jokes and things like that, but it's just to understand, it's taking in everything that you agree to. And so there's much easier buy-in when you're in that heightened emotional state. And then the other thing is repetition. So if you hear something enough times, that is also programming the subconscious mind. So like so when you were growing up, maybe, your parents always said, you got to be careful, got to be careful, you got to be careful, get a real job,
Right.
don't, and all of those things, all of that just stays into your subconscious mind. And then, watching television or watching ads on TV. So when we watch television, we zone out, right? Like, so
100%.
if
Yes.
you zone out and you're like, "Oh," well, that zoned out is a hypnotic state. So then commercials come in, bam, you want a big, beefy, juicy burger. And then all of a sudden your stomach starts rumbling. And, that's hypnosis. That is absolutely hypnosis. So it's as simple as that. But then, of course, there's a more elaborate process when people come and see a hypnotherapist. They also need to have that buy-in. So when they see a hypnotherapist, they come and they say, I want to quit smoking. But maybe they came to you because, they've been getting a hard time from their spouse, and their spouse says, oh, you need to quit smoking. And so they'll go to the hypnotist and, they'll be like, you can't really hypnotize me. I'm not very hypnotizable. I don't really want to quit smoking. And and that's the end of the session right there, because
Have you
um
dealt with that?
I have dealt with that. It's rare. Most people that pay the money to want to come to see a hypnotist,
That was gonna be my
they're
next.
they're ready for the change. And so it they'll make it work and they want it to work. But there are those people who and this is also the thing too, is sometimes people will they'll come and like there's a lot of people that maybe they don't feel like they can afford it, so they'll oh, well, we'll just do a free session for you, and they don't have any buy-in, they don't have any commitment, they don't have any uh you know any
There's
com-
no
you know
backing,
yeah,
they
there's
haven't
no skin
committed
in the
enough.
game.
There you go.
And so part of that, is just getting that buy-in, just getting that, that skin in the game. But, so everyone can be hypnotized. Um, but just different people need different amounts of time, and different approaches work for different, people. But getting back to that, we are getting hypnotized all the time, and we just are not aware of it.
I I guess I never put it in those terms that's where it's all coming from, subliminal messaging, that
Mhm.
type of stuff. But now is that considered as hypnosis, subliminal messaging?
So subliminal messaging, personally, I'm not like I don't really believe so much in subliminal messaging, because I do believe that you need a couple of things present in order for hypnosis to work. One, you need to, because of the way the subconscious mind it needs to kind of form some sort of an image, and you also need to have a feeling. So these two things for me, they're the two biggest requirements, are feelings and forming some sort of an image in your mind. If you don't have one of those two things going on, usually it's not going to work. And so therefore, with the subliminal, you can't hear it, so you're not going to feel anything, and you're not going to be seeing anything in your mind, and so it's not really doing anything. And
Got it.
that's, in my opinion, there are a lot of legit people out there that do believe, because the theory is that the subconscious mind hears everything. It's awake 24 hours a day, and it even hears things below the level of your conscious awareness. And so it's hearing that. But I still believe that it still needs to form some sort of a meaning out of that,
Or an
because
attachment
it's
to it.
yeah, there's the meaning is really what creates our experience. Events happen, and the events in and of themselves, so, like even the words going into your subconscious, that's an event. Events happen, but they don't actually mean anything. We're the ones that make it mean something based on all of our filters by which we've experienced our life. And so, you can say one thing to one person, and they're gonna interpret it one way, and then you can say the same thing to another person, and they're gonna interpret it in an entirely different way. And both people are getting hypnotized in different ways.
Now, we all have seen the pocket watch back and forth, or the person that sound I can't stand ASMR. I don't like ASMR. Like,
I don't like it either.
it's
That's one of the things
let me go ahead.
when I'm scrolling through TikTok occasionally,
Oh god.
it's like, I've got to make sure this gets out of my algorithm
Oh yeah.
because
I,
I
I
cannot
watched one the
deal
other
with
day.
it.
The girl was like, I'm like, what the hell are you doing to the microphone? Like it but I'm curious. So what are some of the things like I have more questions about this than you can
Yeah.
even begin to understand because to me hypnotism is like akin to like superpowers. Like I just if your husband was home right now, I'd be like, so dude, like, do you ever like stop talking to me like this? Like, what do you do to like because I would feel like I would be worried about all of a sudden you're like, so honey, don't you feel like that trash should go out? I'll get to it in a moment. I'm up now. Let me go get that trash. No problem. Do you need something to drink while I'm up? That's so kind of you. Like that's the way I feel about like how that would go down. So what is it that you
I
know?
wish I was that powerful.
Wouldn't it, like that's the way it seems to me. Like this should just be like 3 snaps and you're out. Like so, what are some of the things that like you use as techniques? And I don't want you to give up the ghost because I do want people to go check out victoriamgallagher.com and see all the stuff that you've got out there and see what's going on. But what are some of the things that you're doing or ways that you're helping to get someone to kind of accept that suggestion?
Yeah. So two things. One, my very soothing hypnotic voice. A
Now,
Right. I will say one ASMR I do like is the sound of a cat purring. That is technically
is that
ASMR. Yes. Technically, it's like any soothing sound, but some of the sounds that people, use for soothing
like I
are
don't like the people talking. Like I said, I don't like the people that get like right up on the mic and let me go ahead.
and
And I
the
can hear
well,
the
I just don't
saliva
like
in your mouth. Like I don't
yeah.
want to hear that.
No, no.
Like
Oh gosh,
you
no.
swallow. Like please just like that's
So
gross.
anyway,
Yeah,
so my
your
hypnotic soothing voice, number 1, and then, and just taking somebody into it's just really a matter of, giving people instructions to relax every part of their body, starting with relaxing the eyes, relaxing the head, relaxing the cheeks, relaxing the neck, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing every part of the body. And when you get the body relaxed, then you relax the mind. And so you'll give the mind different suggestions on what to do to start to like get very relaxed and like number counting backward, okay, I'm going to have you count backward from 100. And every time you say a number, I'm going to tell you to relax deeper. And then, you'll suddenly find that you've forgotten about the numbers and you'll just stop counting. And, so we'll, I'll go through different suggestions like that, different routines. We have all different routines. I mean, it's like imagine yourself at the beach. So we'll use some relaxing visualizations, or imagine the sound of the waves. And you just get that person into this real, deep state of relaxation. And when you have them there, that's when you can say, okay, so now that you're relaxed and you're just going to continue to relax even deeper with every word that I say. So I'll plant some suggestions for them to continue the process of relaxation. Just hearing the sound of my voice is going to continue to deepen this process of relaxation. And so I will just continue to relax them along the way. So then I will, after, we have them in a state of hypnosis, then I can just do whatever I want.
And just
No.
and just like that, everything has been admitted to. We heard it all. We got it all.
Man shouldn't butt into anything that ain't his own affair.
No, it's, at that point, that's where we've had a dialogue prior to going into hypnosis. And usually that dialogue is, really getting them to tell me what it is that they need to hear. So I usually, start off, I'll just ask them, what is it that you've been wanting to do? What's the habit? And what would it be like, to be completely free of that habit? And I get them to tell me with their own words what it is ultimately that they'd like, to hear. And really quickly, I'm kind of creating a little script around that. And I just, and it's really interesting too, because a lot of times I haven't said the word. I've never even had these words come to my mind. They didn't say this. And then all of a sudden these words just start popping out because
What do you
I
mean?
I am connected to them at like a deeper level. Like I'll just start, I'll just start saying some things that I never even knew to say before that session. And it's really, really interesting because so there's this other part of the mind, the universal mind, the super conscious, if you will. And this is like where the thoughts are all available to us at all times. Like your thoughts, it's not like I deliberately read your mind, but all of a sudden I'm saying words because I'm intuitively picking up on some things that maybe you need to hear during that session. And so it's really cool because there is this deeper connection that you get to when you have this real deep rapport with someone, when you have them in hypnosis. And, so then they'll come out of the hypnosis and they'll just be like, oh my God, that was the most amazing thing. And especially when you said blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, I don't even know where that came from. Like,
So, I mean, now that's got me thinking here because initially it was sounding like, first session, you're right into hypnosis, but it sounds like first session is more conversational and then it's into like maybe a second session would be actual hypnosis. Am I understanding that right?
I will do hypnosis on the first session. It's usually like if I'm going to do hypnosis
Is
on
it
the
dinner
first
and drinks
session, it's a
involved?
90-minute session
Okay.
because it's like the first 30 minutes or to 45 minutes is really pulling that information from them on a conscious level. We're just having a dialogue.
Okay.
And then I'm also explaining to them a lot of like what they're going, if they've never been hypnotized before, what hypnosis is all about, how you're going to feel. We call this our pre-talk. And so this hypnosis pre-talk can take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to just really give them the whole, layout. We do suggestibility tests. So I will, run a couple of eye tests, eye closure tests, and and just bring them, through these tests to see how hypnotizable they are.
That's wild. That's really like it to me. So as you're going through this process with somebody, and I definitely I feel like we're kind of you're skirting the edge of like you've had some other experiences with some stuff. Now this is I'm gonna bring up a
Mhm.
comment here that this is kind of interesting to me. Again, if anybody this is one of the people that if they were gonna tell me they did this, this would be the one to tell me at the same time they would be the one to tell me I'd be damned. Master Guns Gagnon, 23 years ago, I quit smoking through hypnosis. Huge fan,
Mhm.
life changing. He would have been the guy that either was going to tell me, Murph, this is a big bunch of bunk, I would never do it. Or he was going to be the guy to be like, yeah, no, I gave this shit an absolute try and it worked for me. But
that's fabulous. Congratulations, Ray. That's awesome.
So I'm curious in this whole process. So there's got to be, well, let me go back because that threw me off for a second. Let me go back to some. So what I'm hearing is you're kind of skirting that you may have had some other paranormal experiences also, or feelings of that nature also. And we do a ton on here. The minute that stuff starts on this show, I promise you at some point my equipment is going to go haywire. It has nothing to do with me. Videos start locking up. We've had Patty Negri on here from the Paranormal Network and all kinds of folks. But so is that how you got into this portion? Was you had some experiences and you thought that this was like a nice, like an equal transition? How did you even get into it?
Yeah, so that's a whole other story in and of itself. But just to answer about that, the paranormal stuff. So the way I like to explain it is we're all connected. I mean, you being there and me being here is like an illusion of separateness. And so that's just, I mean, I don't want to get all spiritual on you.
Get all spiritual, get at it, because I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
So every single person in this entire universe ultimately is connected, and I mean universe. So like people have experiences where they've connected to people from other other beings, other planets. I haven't really had any kind of experiences like that, but I do get you do have these psychic phenomenons every once in a while. I mean, haven't you ever had the experience of where you're like, I was just thinking about you, and that person calls you, and it's like, and maybe you hadn't even thought about that person in 6 months, but you just get a phone call from them, or you just get this feeling, or you see something out of the blue. And so we are all connected, and that's why all this law of attraction works. That's why hypnosis works. And that's why you'll have these experiences if you just sort of allow it. And as soon as you try to grab it, as soon as you try to make sense of it, make it logical and make it rational, it kind of goes away, because it's like trying to grab air. It's you can't you can't really grab onto it. You just have to sort of be open for those experiences and allow those things to happen. So that's the ethereal spiritual side of it. You don't have to be like a ethereal spiritual type of person for hypnosis to work either. It's a very logical process. I mean, it's just, we've got our conscious mind, our subconscious mind. You put the conscious mind, to rest for a little while. Subconscious mind's wide open to receive suggestions. Bottom line, that's how it works. But there are some some crazy things that that do happen sometimes. And that's how I am able to more deeply impact my clients, because I'm open and I'm available for those messages to just kind of come through me when I've got them into trance, and I say the words that they needed to hear. And it's almost like it's below the surface. It's like they'll when you've got your top 10 things that you really want, that you're willing to say that you want. But then there's something that's even deeper than that you will never talk about, that you'll never really share about. You just can't get that, below that surface. That's what we're talking about. Sometimes, you just end up dipping below the surface. So that happens. And I think one of the reasons why I was able to learn how to tap into that was and all had to do with when I started as a hypnotist. I went to this seminar, and it was the coolest thing in the world. So before I went to this seminar, I was a stockbroker. I mean, so this literally turned me around 180 degrees.
Talk about 180 out from each other.
I was a stockbroker. I already made, a decent living. I had a six-figure income. I was, had a house. I had a husband. I had everything going for
Yeah.
me. I was in really, really good place. But then I kind of had a breakdown, and I had like, just burnout, and I didn't know. I mean, I was like doing the profession that I thought I was going to do forever. And I'm like, I can't even get out of bed to get up and go and do this anymore. Like, I just cannot do this anymore. And so I'm like, what is wrong with me? I got to like go get motivated. I got to go do something, you know?
Right. All the keywords. Motivate yourself. Find your
Right.
inner person. You just need to find what's going to keep you going. All that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to this seminar, and I had no idea what to expect at the seminar. I just thought I was going to, get motivated, set some goals, and turn myself around. Well, I did turn myself around. And like all the exercises that we did in there were all these really cool meditative techniques. And we just did all these cool visualizations, and we connected with each other in the class, like where we did this thing where somebody would bring to mind somebody in their life that needed some healing. And so we would, like, without them even describing who that person was, we would describe them, and and describe exactly what was wrong with them without them even telling, and then go and do this like casework on them. And so then they would come out, and they were like, "Oh my God, how did you know?" And like 75%, 80% of the class was getting it right. And so it was like kind of proof that, there's way more to the story than meets the eye. And I'm like, I've got to teach people this. Like, I want to I want to help people on more than just their finances. I want to help people with their emotions. I want to help people with um, their motivation
Right.
and their success, and all of that. And so I just didn't know exactly where to look. I had been hypnotized before. I'd read books about hypnosis, but it didn't even occur to me that I was going to become a hypnotist. And so I decided I wanted to put together these recordings. Um, and I wanted to put together these recordings and sell them online. People thought I was crazy, that I, like, and so I was like, well, how do I even learn how to do this? And so I found a hypnosis school. And it was just like I was looking up like how to write meditation scripts, how to write visualizations, and all of a sudden, like, I finally did enough of the right keywords to come across a hypnosis school where I could get trained. And I'm like, that's it. That's exactly what I want to do. And so I, got certified. And next thing you know, I'm creating my website. I decided to go ahead and open an office and see clients. And when I did that, my branch manager, where I was working still as a stockbroker, and earning a living full time, found out what I was doing. And he said, "This is a conflict of interest, and you
How
have
is that a
to."
conflict of interest?
You know,
Curious. I'd love
this
to
was
hear that one.
24 years ago. So back, the financial industry is extremely regulated. So I'm sure there was some regulation in there, and I
We're
don't know.
concerned that you're gonna suggest people to buy Apple stock, and at this moment, we're not sure how we feel about that. How could that even that just seems like a real reach for somebody to be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, this is a conflict of interest." That's just wild, though. So, what would you like you said, you've been doing this for 24 years. I mean,
Yeah. Mhm.
so in that time, you don't have to tell me who. I don't care who. What is some of the just off the wall, like, "Hey, I need you to break me of the habit of fill in the blank," where you're like, "You want me to what?" Like how like you have a habit of eating lug nuts off of cars? What? Like, what is it like that? Because I imagine some of the simpler things like, hey, I'm trying to lose weight. Help me with that. Help me with, smoking like Ray or things of that nature. Typical, like what we would consider as bad habit things. But what's some of the off the wall stuff that just comes in and you're like, where the hell did you find me at? And how the hell am I going to deal with this?
Well, the habit part is not coming to me at the moment, but I
Feel
had
like I've got
but
a
I
bad foot
have had
fetish.
some
Help
weird
break me of that.
things. I've had some weird things where not weird. I'm not going to say it's weird. It
Come on,
it was
it's
weird at the
okay to
time.
call it weird.
It seemed
It's
weird at
it's
the
not
time.
atypical. It's not
Yeah.
atypical.
But
It's
I
all
had
it's
things where,
unique.
people came to me to, want to grow things, and make certain things larger.
Per pers personal appendages?
Certain
Is that what we're saying?
Y height, height and body parts and yes.
Well, hello.
And it and it worked. It worked.
But
Yeah, absolutely. So
wait a sec.
I made
Oh,
no, I I know, I know, I
oh,
know.
oh my
It
god.
it
Please,
wasn't my idea.
like,
Wasn't
how do we know that it worked?
okay.
I
So
need to know this.
how I know is so I used to make like a lot of custom CDs. And so people would they would wouldn't find the thing on my website that they wanted. And so they would fill out a form and tell me what they wanted. And so, it was in those forms where like the more bizarre things, because I have a pretty large library already. So if you're
Yeah, like,
not
I've been on your
finding,
yeah.
yeah, if you're not finding what you want on there, it's usually going to be kind of obscure, right?
Ray says there's
And
still hope for me. So I'm thinking like, man, I'm in there.
so yeah, so then I made the recordings and then they would write back. I mean, I didn't see anything,
Yeah,
but
that
they
was
would
gonna be
write
my
back and tell me that it worked. So
like I first off, the level of confidence that you've got in yourself to be like, hey, look, this is where I'm at in life. I need you to, suggest to me ways that, and then through your CD, like we're not even talking. This wasn't even person to person.
right, right. Mhm.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
I don't even like. I didn't see that one coming. Like I didn't. Like I really thought you were gonna be like, yeah, I've had people that like ate their hair and they needed me to help them. Like that one came out of left field.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great. That is hilarious. Well, that kind of feeds us into the law of attraction.
Mhm. Yes.
So what is, I saw this on there, like I said, you're an international speaker, you've done all these different things, but what is the law of attraction?
So the law of attraction is really like just a fancy way of saying that you get what you think about most of the time, most often. So, if you have a habitual way of thinking, if you say to yourself that, I am super lucky. Like all the great opportunities always come up for me. I always meet the right people, the right time and the right places. And you say that, you're going to draw that in. You're going to draw in more of, but if you say like I have the worst luck. I like all the, bad things always happen to me. I'm always late. People suck, blah, 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 blah. Like all the things that you are saying on a negative side, then guess what? You're drawing in those negative things. So it's just basically you get what you say out loud, you get what you think about most of the time. But here's the thing. Most of the time, because it's just like we kind of live in a negative society,
Oh,
I
yes.
mean,
Yes.
just turn on the news and like, where's the good news? Like, no one ever wants to talk about anything good that happened.
Why would you ever why would you ever want to do such a thing?
Right? Even when you get together, with people, all people want to do is talk about, the price of gas or talk about politics or talk about, blah blah blah, what who whoever's president is the wrong one at the
Right.
time,
Your
whatever
guy
it
sucks.
is.
My guy's great. Don't you miss mine? No. Your guy's gonna die any day now. Well, your guy is gonna go to jail. Yeah, no. It's
Yeah,
everybody just loves being miserable.
yeah, and people, and so misery loves company, right? And so most of the time we get together and it's fun. We complain, we commiserate about all the bad. Oh, let me tell you how bad my day was. Let me
Right.
tell you how much pain I'm in. Let me tell you, it's like, oh my God, my so and so is such a jerk, or blah blah blah, or the traffic was, and so we're constantly like 90%, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but like 90% of our conversations inside our head and verbally are negative. And so we're just not living up to our full potential, because we are, and so it so learning about the law of attraction, it really starts with extreme awareness and attention to our conversation and what we're talking about. That's what it really comes down to, because most of the time we're just not even aware. We're just yammering on and on, and talking about bad things. It's like the sports,
Right. You're talking about
yelling
the
at the
fact that
TV.
Lamar's out for the next 1 to 3 weeks. We gotta go back up, That's great.
Yeah, so it's really just, yeah, like I love what Ray said here. 1,000% it takes conscious effort to leverage the law of attraction. Like The Secret, you've probably seen The Secret. And that was one of the reasons that I kind of um it was really weird. Before The Secret came out, I had hypnosis recordings that utilized, because I was reading books like by Shakti Gawain and Deepak Chopra, and so these were a lot of like your spiritual
I know I know
people.
I know Deepak. I didn't know the other one. I know who Deepak Chopra is.
Yeah, and reading like Think and Grow Rich and all of these kinds of books that had this law of attraction philosophy. And when I became a hypnotist, I just automatically started using a lot of this terminology in
Oh,
my.
okay.
Yeah, it was just sort of like, it was just natural for me to like use the words like, you have a vibration, and your vibration is positive and growing and glowing and attracting great things to you. I was just
I
saying
was
that
just
as
I
a
was just laughing because all I was thinking of was that whoever that was that contacted you that wanted to get larger on the vibration.
So I was just saying these things naturally, not even really referring to, this magnetism, this energy, and this like attracts like, and positive vibrations and all that stuff. I was just using that naturally in my hypnotic pattern, whenever I would, put together my recordings. And so then The Secret came out, and it's like,
What is The
oh,
Secret?
now
I don't know what The Secret is.
so The Secret is a movie that really opened up a lot of people to learning about what this law of attraction is. It's a law of attraction movie. They had a lot of like law of attraction star. You had a lot of people like, I don't know if you are familiar with some of these names, like Joe Vitale, um Bob Proctor, Jack Canfield. Some of it, so maybe your audience isn't familiar with these people.
Most of
Um,
them no, my audience will be familiar with them. I will not be. I will be
yeah,
the guy who's going, I don't know. Like
yeah,
Deepak, I know. I know who Deepak
yeah.
Chopra, but that name's been around for ever. Like, wasn't he involved with the Beatles or something like that?
I don't know about the
Is it the one?
Beatles, but
Yep, know them all. See, look, see, Ray knew them all.
yeah, so
Yep.
Ray knows who I'm talking about. So when this movie came out, it looks like they make law of attraction looks like it's magic. All you have to do is just close your eyes and think to yourself that I'm, attracting a new car. And then, it's like they make it seem like, the next day you're going to have a new car sitting out in your driveway. And so a lot of people started working on this whole law of attraction concept, and and half the people were having some success with it because they understood how it really works, and half the people were not having success at it and calling it BS because they don't know how it works. And and it was the movie basically took something that would really require a lot more explanation into it. It's like 90 minutes, and so, they sensationalize this whole idea of the law of attraction. And so I really, because I've been using the law of attraction my entire life, everything that I have in my life, my soulmate, who's downstairs putting away the groceries. Um,
I told you.
Yep. My dream house, my, career of my dreams, everything. I have manifested that. I've attracted that using the law of attraction. But using the law of attraction the way it really works, not using the law of attraction like, like a magic show. And so I got really interested in teaching other people like how this actually works.
You wrote a whole
And
book on it.
yeah, I wrote a book on it, and I actually did that
Look at that.
using the
Is
right
that not the most
arm and
difficult thing when you're
everything.
on camera, knowing which
Yes.
side is your right? You're like, I can't tell you how many times I'd be like, "Here on my right." I mean, here. Yeah,
Somehow or another, that magically worked.
oh, you did good with that. You very Vanna Whited that. You Vanna that one very well. Yes, I did write that book. It's right here. You did a very good Vanna for that one.
Thank
I'm I liked it. I'm giving kudos for that one. So, but
Yeah,
you're both
so
practical law of attraction.
practical law of attraction, keyword there.
Practical.
Um,
Usable.
exactly. I mean, probably my next more advanced level book. This is like a kind of a book for,
It's
I
actually
mean,
called like Practical Law of Attraction,
yeah,
right?
it's
That's the name
actually
of the
called
book. Practical
practical law of
Law of
attraction.
Attraction.
hmm and so many people when I was figuring out what the title was going to be, they kind of poo-pooed that title, Practical Law of Attraction, because they said, oh, it sounds so like a reference book or boring, and like,
Good.
I have to name it this. I just know this is the name of the book. And and it's done wonders. It's been like, it'll be 4 years in February. February is coming up. 4 years since I released it, and it's still in its category that it's listed in. It's still number one best-selling book in its category.
Well, I think, when you talk about subjects like this or you talk about topics like this, it's great to get the cheat code book,
Mhm.
and that's that all those people you talked about that are super advanced and they're like, so you need to go ahead and manifest everything you want. If you need that new car, just say new car. You know, it's great to
Yeah.
have that, but really what most of us need is give me the foundational functional way of doing this and
Mhm.
just how it gets done. And that's what this book really is. It's, hey, if this is how you want to be, this is, you want to bring this into your life and really understand how every time when you were feeling miserable, you had miserable people around you and you were always in miserable situations. Hey, this is how this worked. And this is why you're at that point. If you're looking to break that, it's a foundational book.
It is. Yeah, it's a realistic way to actually make law of attraction work. And like, if anybody reads this book, actually reads the book, they will see, like, there are logical steps that you can take. They're not like steps like in any particular order, but all of these manifesting conditions all need to be in place in order for you to manifest. And usually there's 8. Usually there's, one or two that a person may be out of alignment in. And when they can tweak those couple of things, then they will manifest their goals.
I see. I think it's amazing, and I'm bringing this one up because you've done 3 books on law of attraction in some way. You got the was it? I have my notes, and I never have notes. Dibs isn't here, so he's
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah.
Manifesting your soulmate, and then
Mhm.
attract good luck. How to
Yeah.
manifest your soulmate and attract good luck. 2 different books, and then ultimate weight loss power. So when and they're all on Amazon, they're all available. You've got your podcast, your courses. I mean, I'm gonna we're gonna make a little bit of a left turn with everything you've got here, because
Okay.
I think this is something that's important. Is we're talking about all these things you're doing, but you're also an entrepreneur then.
I am. Yeah.
I don't think people equate that in the same way. Like they're like, well, she wrote some books and did some things. Yeah, she's taking care of herself. This is entrepreneurial. This is stepping out from being a stockbroker. I mean, God, stockbroker, yeah, luck you moved out of you missed 2007, 2008, which lucky for you. But this took an entrepreneurial mindset to do it. And this is also different than a lot of entrepreneurial stuff we've talked about on here. And as I'm thinking about it more, what were some of the challenges from that? And I'm really curious. I know this is a left turn for what we were going to talk about, but I really, this is part of that manifesting, part of that law of attraction. If you're going to go into business for yourself,
Yeah.
you have to believe in you. You have to believe in what you're doing, and it has to feel right. Like
Yeah.
that gut feeling of this is the right place for me to go. But what were some of the differences, because this isn't a brick and mortar situation. This isn't, it is a service, it's a service that you're providing. But what were
Mhm.
some of the entrepreneurial challenges that you ran into when you even going to a bank and saying, hey, I need to go ahead and take out a small business loan? I don't know if you did or didn't, but I'm going to go ahead and be a hypnotherapist.
That would have been
Like,
the
I'm
smart thing
curious.
to do.
I'm curious. Ray says we all co-create with the universe. Problem is, the most people don't do it consciously. You're absolutely right. But what was that like going into doing this in that way, and being an entrepreneur, starting your own small business for this type of service?
So I'll tell you, like, one of the biggest mistakes or challenges that I made was not having really a game plan. I was just flying by the seat of my pants. And I literally, like I said, I took this seminar, I had read some books, and I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to manifest it. But I had not integrated it from conscious, because you can think about something, but I had not integrated what I knew into my being. And so I had some challenges when I very first started out, to attract the abundance that I needed to attract in order to, to make a go of this. I had, savings, that was depleting for a little while. And so one of the things that I had this kind of false sense of confidence, starting out. And, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and quit my 6-figure a year job. I'm going to continue to go get my nails done and act like I have,
I
you know
don't do
what?
all the shit I normally do just without a paycheck to do it. What's the
Yeah.
problem?
Right? No paycheck. I'm just gonna act as if, without having that completely integrated into my being, into my subconscious. And so that was number 1. And then number 2, I was like running on a hamster wheel when I first started, because I'm like, I've got to make it happen. I got to make it happen fast, and I mean, think about it. It's like I literally went from a 6-figure income to no figure income and debt, on top of
So
that,
you just created
because
that for yourself.
I just created all this debt because I've got Yellow Pages ads. I've got ads in newspapers, all on a contract. I've got a lease. I've got website expenses. I've got all probably like $5,000 a month in expenses I just took on, plus my own personal
Life expenses.
expenses and debts and things like that. And so I just ran out there and said, "Yeah, I'm going to do this. I believe, I believe, I believe." And I didn't really have a game plan. And then I'm working like 20 hours a day, 20 hours a day, like trying to figure everything out. And all the stuff that I believed in, that I was selling, that I was promoting, I wasn't doing it myself. Like I'm like, oh, I don't have time to sit down and unprogram my mind. And all that time, because, the thing is that doing the mental work actually shaves off time on the action work. You still have to take action, but when you get your subconscious mind on board with what you're doing, because I was like sabotaging myself at the very, very beginning. And, so, I finally kind of just hit this rock bottom moment. I just had this rock bottom moment where I ran out of money. I'm having to borrow money from people, and I'm like humiliated. I'm like, how did I get from where I was? I was like living like, the life of luxury to like, can I borrow some money?
Wow.
All that happened within like the first year and a half, and it was horrible. I mean, I was kind of like living like a pauper. I'm like, not in I'm not in integrity with what I'm selling here, because I'm not using it and to help myself. And so I just like fell to my knees. I started crying, I started journaling, and I got an answer. I got like kind of like my first like real download. And it was like from the universe, and it was just like you need to actually start to use the products that you're creating and selling that other people are having success with. And so that's what I did. And I actually started, to hypnotize myself. As I started hypnotizing myself for success, I started getting ideas on how to promote my business. Like I was just sort of like, had like these blinders on. I just didn't even like know, like, oh, maybe so I can put my stuff on eBay. Oh, okay, so I can put some of my stuff on Amazon. Oh, so I can have a sale. I can send out emails more often. I can, like all these ideas
Right.
started, like, they may seem obvious, but when you're in that like that
Blinders
state,
mindset.
you've
Yeah.
got these blinders on, and you're saying like, why me? Why isn't this working? Why aren't my, all I did was just try to take action on my dreams, and it's not working. And, why me? Why me? And just having this attitude that was so opposite from everything I just finished learning about and wanting to teach. It's like I got into this really weird downward spiral. And then, when I finally, started taking my own advice, my own medicine, and listening to my own stuff, all the ideas started coming. And like, within a few months after that, I finally made it. And, I finally had like my first, when I say made it, like I finally had my first month that was profitable.
Profitable, positive month. Well, Ray's already created your next book for you.
The
the next book,
Manifestation of an Entrepreneur. Thank you.
he,
That is a great book.
he's already got your next book ready to go. And I appreciate you always coming on, brother. Well, I'll tease this. Ray's coming on all the time. We call him Master Guns normally, and he's got some things coming that we'll just hint at a little bit of chaos that's coming from his side, and chaos in a good way that he might be able to coach some of us through. So just keep that in mind, folks. Some things coming from Master Guns here real soon.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I really appreciate all the support, Ray. Thank you so much for all your contributions here.
so we want to kind of start kind of wrapping the bar up, cleaning up, getting the glasses put away, and get things situated
I
here.
haven't even popped open my
What?
beverage.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Victoria?
I'm opening. Look, I am actually opening it now.
Now you're gonna have you're in Arizona. You're gonna chug that? Are you dropping this?
No, this will be my dinner drink.
You're dropping, is that an Arizona equivalent of like an Ensure or something like that? Is that the Arizona version of Ensure? You drink a White Claw. It's Arizona meal replacement. We drink White Claw. That's great. I love it. That's too much. So, I mean,
well, it's only like 100. It's only 100 calories.
I think Michelob Ultra and Miller Lite are both less calories than that, right? They're both less. They're like in the 90s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
but it doesn't taste as good.
So, that's what everything is. I have no idea how many calories are in my whiskey. So I'm not even gonna guess. Like a little bit of rye right now. So I wanted to finish off this.
Now, what kind of whiskey do you drink? My husband drinks Jameson.
So I don't drink Jameson. Just I used to. I like Jameson, and like if I'm out at a bar, I'll drink like Jameson and ginger ale. I like that, or just Jameson straight.
Okay.
More so because a lot of bars, like I like good bourbon and I like good rye. Going to a restaurant or a bar that's got top shelf stuff, what I can buy a bottle. My parents own the liquor store and a bar, so I understand the math behind it. If people get upset where they're like, dude, why am I going to give you $120 for that bottle? I can buy it for $30. That's because if they break down the individual shots inside of it, that's what they can make off of that bottle. So
right.
That's the math behind it. So
people don't understand how business works and they want to complain. I mean, like I get that with my app sometimes. It's like, I mean, my app, I have a like $10 a month subscriptions to like life-changing stuff. And people are like, you charge money for your app. And it's like, well, yeah, how do you think I pay for the developers? And
because the universe downloaded to me that they only think I should charge you $10, not the $15 I wanted to.
Right. Exactly.
There's the answer for you. The universe told me this was the right plan.
Yeah, I think I'm going to raise it to $100 a month.
You look, we can get into an entire thing.
I should charge what it's worth.
I love people that, completely left turn here for a second, folks. I love people that complain about the cost of someone's services. And I'm always like, you could shop it. Nobody's telling you can't, but after you've called about 3 to 4 places and they're all in the same ballpark, that's because that's what that service runs, folks.
Right.
Get over it. It's what that service runs. Welcome to a world where our generation kept getting told, go to college, don't learn a trade. That guy who went and learned a trade, you're paying for him now because there's less of them. And this is it. He's manifested in his life. His law of attraction is that I'm going to learn this trade and I will attract all of you when your toilet is clogged and you will have to call or not. So, I mean, I wanted everybody to know, like you have VictoriaMGallagher.com and that's M, the letter M. You have VictoriaMGallagher.com. You have your podcast.
Power of Your Mind.
Power of Your Mind. I almost said Hype Link for some reason. I don't know why I had that in my head. There was.
Oh, you're thinking of Hip Talk. So Hip Talk is one of my websites. That was the original website. That's where I populated that with all of my like over 500 hypnosis recordings. Now we're going 1,000. And I
And you
have
have
like,
Personal Growth Club,
yep, Personal Growth Club. Yep, that's where all my courses are, all my online
YouTube
courses.
channel, Hype Talk,
Mhm.
the YouTube
Mhm.
channel, and
Yep.
then the app, HypnoCloud app.link.
Yep.
Is it on Apple and all those spots?
Apple and Google. Yep.
So you can
Yeah.
get hip.
And
So
just
you can learn how to
be
make it grow, gentlemen. You can get. She has a whole CD that will tell you.
and be on the lookout. So HypnoCloud is now going to be like, it's going to go obsolete pretty soon.
Oh, really?
Because we are developing the end all be all hypnosis meditation affirmation app. It's going to have some of my courses, not all my like high ticket ones, but some of my beginners courses like on self hypnosis and probably like a 7-day manifesting challenge and things like that, videos, ebooks,
What's
hypnosis
an
scripts. It's
expensive
all
course?
going to be in,
I'm
huh?
curious. Now you got me curious. Like, what's a high-end course?
A
Like, what would be
high end, yeah, high end course is like between 500 to
but no, what am
2,000.
I getting out of that? Like, I'm curious. Like, what is that giving me?
So like my law of attraction course, the whole thing, it's like you're getting like 60 video training modules.
Oh, that's 60 videos.
Yeah.
So if it's $500, 60 videos. So you're doing good.
Yeah.
You're what, 875, 850 a video, less than that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really it's amazing. It's life-changing. And there's like, little piece of homework between to really
Oh,
help
no,
you to
I can't do
yeah.
homework. I don't.
No homework.
Well, see, I'm very anti-homework as a
Yeah.
parent, and I'll give you my whole thing. I believe that homework. So remember, who pays for all of our schools? Our school system. It's very
Mhm.
corporate driven.
Yeah.
So homework is teaching kids that it's okay that after you finish your 8 hours of work
Yeah.
to go home
And
and
continue working.
for free, continue working for somebody. That, like, understand, folks, that's you want a law of attraction. Here's one for you. Here's one you missed. You were attracted to the idea that when you were the kid that always did your homework, that you went home and did your homework because you were being trained that when you went into the workforce, that it was completely okay for you to go home and work for free for somebody. And it was all right for them to ask for you to do that.
That's very interesting. Well, when I say homework, so I'm
I'm
just
sorry.
kind of
I was just being an ass.
so the homework is like, okay, so like start this new habit of meditating for
That's
5 minutes a day kind of thing.
I'm just kidding. Like, I had this conversation recently with my son.
But
And I
it
was like,
makes I've never actually
"Yep,
thought about that, but it is,
that's what you're
it
training
does
kids to
kind
do."
of
Well,
yeah.
think about the hours of a school.
Mhm.
What are they? They're work hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, you're training kids that this is their work hours, and then when you're done work, you go and you continue on working at your own cost of your own time to give back to your employer your finished product.
Right.
And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. So we got to get this wrapped up, and you and I got to talk for a moment afterwards. I got something
Sure.
for you. So
Yeah.
don't log off afterwards. So how often does the podcast come out?
So the podcast is weekly. It comes out every it's like Thursday night, Friday morning.
Okay.
Yep.
So weekly podcast. Now, do you do yours live or do you pre-record and put it?
We pre-record. As a matter of fact, we're on a little break right now because we are recorded all the way through like March
Nice.
right now. So yeah, so we'll do like like a couple episodes a week. We'll pre-record it.
can people still reach out to you now? Like if somebody heard this and said, hey, do you go by Vicky or Victoria? I didn't even ask.
Victoria.
You do go by
Victoria.
Victoria because
Yeah.
I feel like you're a Vicky, but I get it. So if somebody reached out to you, Victoria, and said, hey, I really could use your help, can they still reach out to you? Are you still doing sessions with people, or is it pretty much that part of your life is done?
No, I do. I'm never going to be like a fully booked, hypnotherapist. I don't want to be, or coach. I have, I have time, to see like a handful of clients in a week.
And you probably do that at one. Can you do hypno online like we're talking right now?
I have been doing it online since 2005.
Oh, you're like
When
good.
I left Las Vegas is where my first and only actual hypnotherapy office was. And then when we picked up and left and moved to Florida, I said, I'm not opening up another office because I'm, pretty much making a living online. And if people want to see me, they can just, and there was no Zoom back then. They could just call me or do it on Skype. And there's like literally and, a lot of hypnotists these days are just learning, after COVID, like they were just learning how the whole online thing works. But I had been doing that forever and having great success with it.
You're an OG for the online.
I am an OG. I love it. I am like, I was on Skype, before there was Zoom. I was doing phone calls before there was Skype, and
nice. and like you said, like I couldn't even begin to tell you how many videos I kind of in online topics that you've got on there on different things, and all that. Like there's just folks go check out victoriamgallagher.com. I can't even begin to kind of get into how much stuff I was perusing through and just saw on their books, podcasts, videos.
And you would think I have no content the way I'm like right now in a race to create so much content, in a race with myself to create so much content, because I want to be able to hit that 1,000 mark by the time my new app goes live.
1,000 what? Videos or
1,000 like hypnosis meditations.
Oh, that's wild. That's a lot.
Yeah. And I've got some crazy, like I'm really targeting entrepreneurs in my next app. I mean, I'm going to keep all the existing content, of course, but all my new content that I'm developing, it's all this like very niche, obscure stuff, like growing your YouTube channel, growing.
Well, that's where the money, like, let's be honest here for a second. I know we're getting ready to put a bow on this whole thing, close the bar up, but we've all kind of learned through COVID that niche is where the business is. In the podcasting world, I take on a very unique that I don't have a niche. I don't believe. I talk to anyone about any topic, and because I always say everyone's welcome at the bar. We all sit at a bar and we're equal at a bar. Every bar stool sits at the same height. So nobody's better than anybody else in a bar. That's the great thing about it. It is the great equalizer.
Yeah.
But if you look, at the shows that are out there, if you want to go, I promise you, and I haven't even looked this up, if you want to go listen to a podcast about friggin' toenail clippings, there's probably one out there that somebody does a whole show about, this is my toenail clipping collection. It's there.
Well, I get the biweekly email from like the podcastguests.com.
Yes, podcast guest directory. Love those guys.
Yeah, and I get the biweekly email, and so I'll peruse through there to see if there's any podcasts, looking for guests, and
That's how we met.
And it's
That's how we met.
That's how we met, and so I'll see some of these, like, there's really a podcast about that.
Yeah, like they're just, you name it. I get guests that way. I've had some great guests, and they come out of the blue, and I'm like, That's your topic. Okay, we're talking. We got it. I love it. So, Miss Victoria, I have to say everything that you've discussed it's been amazing. And look, folks, if you're finding us through Victoria, and this is how this you've kind of manifested the law of attraction to us today of figuring out, through the hypnotist out there, how to find. That's going to be your next T-shirt. You know that, right? Hypnotist out there. Found us. Make sure you give us a like, follow, share, subscribe, all those different things. I know we've all got, most of us at this point, if you're listening to me, you probably got kids and you're sitting there going, man, I can't stand those videos when they say that. Well, guess what? What I've learned from watching my kids' videos is that's how those folks make millions upon millions of dollars, and how they make things happen. Thanks, Ray. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Ray.
But that's how these folks make millions of dollars, is you taking a moment, like, follow, share, subscribe. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, even our email, the above the bar podcast @gmail.com. Sticker and a cause. Reach out to us if you have anything. Quick note about next week's show. We have a gentleman coming on next week. His name is Justice Smoke. Do you like hockey at all, Victoria? Do you like hockey?
I've been to a hockey game. I've enjoyed it when I've gone. I'm not like a big hockey person, but yeah.
Neither am I. I can't stand hockey personally, but
Yeah.
Justice, do you know what the best part about hockey is?
What?
The fights. You just go to hockey to see the fights. Well, Justice is part of this league that was started, and I want to talk to the guy who started the league too, that is only hockey fights. They go out in their complete hockey gear. There is no game played. It's two dudes on skates on the ice throwing fists.
Oh my God. There's no hockey. It's the unhockey game.
It's the it's just the best part. It's the fights. So we're going to talk to Justice Smoke next week, and we're going to learn about hockey fights and that whole piece. So please be on the lookout for that. Make sure you're checking out VictoriaMGallagher.com. The other thing that I ask of everyone, if you want to really do me one more big favor, is whatever app you're using to check our show out, whether it be Apple, Spotify, whatever it is you're using, make sure you give us a 5-star review. That's how this gets found. That's how people find Victoria. That's how people find me. That's how this all happens. Now, Victoria, something we do on every show is the guest gets the final word.
Oh boy.
What's the final word?
Okay, so the final word is, I believe that we all deserve to find our freedom. And so I challenge you to, find what you love, what you're passionate about, what you, would do in your spare time, and do that, and enjoy, carving out time for yourself that allows you to break free. If you want to break free from the 9 to 5, you want to break free from your limiting beliefs, you want to break free from negative thoughts, you want to break free from negative people. It's all about breaking free. So I believe you deserve to find your freedom, and you can do it as, when you put your mind to it. You can do anything.
Alrighty, folks, be sure to push your stool in.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation, found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.